All right. Welcome to the Ultra High Net Worth Clients Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Broadhead. We started this podcast as a way to create a central resource of the best financial advisor practice growing tips shared by the most outstanding advisors in the industry, of which our guest today is definitely one. These outstanding financial advisors agree to be on the show and provide a ton of value for free, all in the hopes that our audience might learn from their words. My father was a financial advisor, and financial advisors are the main clients we serve. So, my marketing agency's mission is to help every financial advisor grow their business in an effort to help the world become more financially secure. Today, we have the rare pleasure of talking with an incredible financial advisor, Mario Hernandez. Mario, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to your audience today. I've been a financial advisor for over 35 years. Started in the early 1990s. I'm also a certified financial planner. So I primarily work with clients who are looking for financial planning advice and services. So I'm not only help clients with their investments, but primarily trying to figure out ways of how they can enhance their financial life overall in different areas, and as well as meeting their specific goals that they're trying to address. And so for me, it's I've been primarily in the last 3 to 4 years focusing on education. And I do that through a couple different ways with clients. I write articles with through Kiplinger magazine, and these are the way I provide monthly articles to clients about on different financial planning topics. So a lot of the articles are based on my personal experience of what concerns clients, and what are things that clients are asking about. And I also provide other kinds of information that can be helpful for anyone's situation. So it's not necessarily just for my certain level of clients. It's pretty much articles focus on helping anybody. And so I do that. I do webinars for clients as well on different financial planning topics. But it's really stems from my background. I used to be a soccer coach for a number of years, and I enjoyed teaching young kids how to play the sport, as well as helping adults sort of learn the parents learn the game as well. So for me, it's truly enjoyable, and that's something that I try to stress when I have talked to clients about educating them and making clear that this is their journey. I'm helping them to enhance their financial journey as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So
Awesome.
that's hopefully that helps a little bit
Yeah,
about
yeah,
my
yeah.
background.
Yeah. Lot to dig into there. I wrote about 10 follow-up questions. Um, I don't think I shared this before the call, but I currently live in Barcelona, Spain, and soccer is huge out here.
Yeah,
I have friends who have sent their kids to soccer camps over
yeah,
here.
that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the premier area for soccer in the world, I think. For
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, Spain has been up
Wow.
there for certainly in the EuroLeague, Premier League, they've
Mhm.
been dominant. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so that's
yeah.
a great area for soccer.
Yeah, yeah. It's we play. I got into paddle, and we'll play that, and there's soccer fields right next to it, and we'll grab a beer afterwards. And I'm just, seeing these kids play out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, these kids would absolutely smoke me.
There's no doubt. There's
And they're like
there's definitely
7. They're just incredible. Just
yeah,
just crushing the ball and like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, juking people out of
yeah,
their cleats. It's
You definitely are in a good area for seeing good soccer for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt.
yeah. Do
So
you still coach or do you
I do
still
not.
okay.
Yeah. No, I finished up at high school and I did that for seven years. And my business started being requiring more of my time, so I just left it.
Hmm.
It was enjoyable. It's a lot of time, and
Yeah, yeah.
I just needed to move on. But I really enjoyed that for
Hmm.
sure.
Awesome, awesome. Do you think you'll ever get back into it? Maybe after you retire?
Possibly,
Or...
my daughter played, and so she's pregnant now, so she's down the
Okay, there you
road.
go.
She she coached a little bit when she was younger, and
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind just helping her if she wanted to coach um, her own child's team. So yeah,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it never leaves you about coaching for sure. It's always there. You always want to. Uh, I always have it in the back of my mind of wanting to do it again. It's just the time element, and
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's tough. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm sure you'll help her coach your grandkid slash the next Messi.
Right. I'm hoping just to help them learn how to enjoy the game more than anything. And
Yeah, yeah.
that's the most thing. I think that's the most important thing to me. It's kids, because my daughter played at a competitive league uh, level, and it seemed like a lot of the parents, it was more about them living through their kids uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
and wanting their kids to go to excel at a higher level. And
Hmm.
it was really not about the kid really wanting to have fun, enjoyment. It's more about it became this more serious. So
Yeah.
it kind of loses a lot of the fun. And so for me, it's really any kid can play soccer. It's just and it's just a matter of how much enjoyment they want out of it. And
Hmm.
it's the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if they're
Absolutely.
really good, as long as they enjoy it, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. We had a guest on a month or two ago and he has two sons and they're both in the top 10 in like the sub 18 golfers in the world.
Oh wow.
And he was like the older one. I was joking. I was like, "Oh, so, is he taking on Tiger Woods' kid?" He's like, "He kicks Tiger Woods' kid's butt regularly." And I was like,
Yeah,
"That's pretty cool."
yeah, it's really good. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. But back to the topic at hand. So, how did you find yourself in this wild industry?
In the actual financial planning world,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
yeah,
Yes.
helping clients. So
Yep.
yeah, I originally started out of college. I was an accounting major and got a job with the state of California as a sales tax auditor. So that's how
Mm-hmm.
I met my wife a couple of years later, and there was just I was just trying to get a job, and
Hmm.
I had an
Yeah.
accounting background, and I said I just need to get a full-time job. So it was a really good job for me at the time, and I did that for about 7 years, um, 6.5 years, and I was not I I didn't like that adversarial approach to
Hmm.
working with people, and I decided needed to look for something different. And so at the time, this is back late 80s, there was a new field called financial planning. And
Hmm.
it was an up and coming field because prior to that, you just had stockbrokers and people didn't really do financial planning or any kind of, it was more buying and selling of stocks and maybe advising on a portfolio, but that was the extent of what people provided in the financial services field. And so financial planning was a very new way of how to service clients. And it wasn't so much about talking about their investments, but talking about their financial life. And so it
Hmm.
encompassed everything about it. So So I was really intrigued and interested. And so I decided there was a one program here in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, through a school called Golden Gate University. And they had a master's degree program in financial planning. So I decided to take that and enroll and get a master's. So I got a master's in financial planning at that time.
Mm.
And I ended up, while still working, I did that at night, and ended up getting an internship with a financial planner in San Francisco. And
Mhm.
turned out I worked with him part-time for 6 months, and he wanted to hire me. And so I made a decision to move on from what I was doing to in the financial planning field. And so I worked there for about 4 years and enjoyed every aspect of it. Um, and he was a really good mentor. So we would do at the time 100-page financial planning plans. And so this was a book that we would give to clients, and they would pay $2,500 to $3,000 for this book. And we'd go it would actually go through every area of financial planning, budgeting,
Mhm.
estate planning, uh, insurance, investments, all of that. And so that was what we would provide clients going forward. And we would, on an ongoing basis, help them to implement different areas of the plan that we had set out for them based on their goals. And so that was true financial planning. And today, don't do it quite like that. Certainly, I don't do 100 page plans anymore.
Mhm.
Most of my plans are 12 to 15 pages at the most. Um, and but it's still the essence of the advice that's the most important thing that I like to provide clients. So uh, over the years, after I moved on from working for that planner for 4 years, I moved on to another uh, company that was closer to where I was living, and I decided I was there for almost 25 years. So I did financial planning there. I was a partner. I did investment. I did oversaw the operations of the company, and
Mhm.
so I enjoyed that. But I wanted to do more. So I decided to take on a friend of mine who was looking to bring on another partner. And he was primarily doing financial planning. I came on with him, and he eventually retired. And I took basically he sold me his business, and that's what I have today. So um, it's been a long journey. Today, the things I know and that I provide clients. I wish I knew these things 20 years ago, because it
Yeah.
would certainly have been very beneficial for early on in my career in terms of trying to help clients. But what I try to do more than anything is uh, really meet clients where they are and really help them, guide them to where they want to be. And I don't necessarily do it in the conventional way. Um, I know this is more than what you asked, Chris, but I just want to go just one last point here. Is
Go for it.
the it's really investment markets have changed in the last 20 years greatly, and financial planning has changed as well. So I try to help clients in a way that I um, like to be helped. And so what I mean by that is, in terms of investments, anything I invest in, I recommend to clients as well.
Mm.
Because I have the experience, I understand how the investment works, and I want to share that experience with clients, especially if it's gone well. And but I also do that for anything that I share about my estate planning, insurance, those types of areas as well, things that I have also experienced, to provide that as a solution for clients. And so I think that's the best approach when helping clients is to really do things that you've done yourself and that have been instrumental in helping you grow your wealth, helping you in various parts of your financial life. And I think that's the only way I truly you can really help clients is in that fashion, as opposed to being a salesman and trying to sell them a product. So
Hmm.
that's been because I've never been a salesman. And so I've always been from the standpoint of how can it help somebody? How has it helped me? And I think that's truly the way
Hmm.
you should help people.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that sells itself as well.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's awesome. So, uh how did you coordinate or um set up the purchase of the book?
So I had basically with my when I was working for my previous firm, we had purchased 3 books of businesses from other advisors. And
Hmm.
so um, basically I took sort of the basic structure of the agreement, how we did those in putting together the agreement that I did with my friend who retired, eventually retired when he did retire. So that's what I did is, and really that's the agreement is all based on uh, a evaluation that is mutually agreed and is based on using different um, valuation models that are out there today, and then coming up with a evaluation that's agreeable to both parties. And that's what we did. So we looked at different valuation models based on what his book of business, and then we came up with a value that was agreeable to both of us. Um, and then within the agreement, it's really uh, a 3-year time period before uh, you you basically pay off the note to him,
Hmm.
and essentially there's an initial down plus 2 more years of um, paying for the practice, and then eventually he retires. So within that time period, it's really essential to make sure that you have met all the clients and that you start integrating your approach of how you want to help clients going forward. And it's really bottom line, it's getting to know those clients, them trusting you, and really making sure that they are want to go forward with you.
Hmm.
And so during that time period, any clients that decided they wanted to go forward, that's reduced from the purchase price. You go over 12 months of um, of revenue and times of multiple that you had for the value of the practice. So that's just a way so that way you're not paying for clients that don't want to continue on with you,
Hmm.
and who really want to trust your approach going forward. Um, so that's really the what I did is have structured agreement that number one, and one is something that was really what my friend wanted, and also from my standpoint also protected me from clients that didn't want to go forward. um, and so yeah, so I think that's a workable agreement, as long as everyone's on the same page.
Hmm. Okay, awesome. So did uh he's you guys both were working at the same time for a year or so?
Couple of years, yeah, we did it for three
Or
years
3 years? 3 years, got
3 years,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
And how did you come into contact with him to
So we grew
set
up,
up that
our
deal?
kids grew up together.
Okay.
So we were uh we our kids played, football, soccer. And so I knew he was in the business. I was in the business. And so we had just kept on talking over the years. And
Mm-hmm.
um, I was really impressed with how he grew his business.
Mm-hmm.
And so did we just talked more about because he had more of a financial planning approach. The firm that I was with, we did some financial planning. Well, we didn't do full financial planning. It was more investment management based. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it was to me. I really wanted to uh, incorporate more of the financial planning approach that he had with clients, and so that was helpful in understanding that. But yeah, we there was a long process for us to. It was a
Mm-hmm.
friendship, and then eventually a business.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Relation.
That's the best. I think that that speaks to your philosophy of only selling um, products and vehicles you use yourself. It's like your friend was like, "I'm retiring, and here's my friend to take care of you."
Right.
I would only recommend him as a friend if he was my own friend, which he is.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's not um, like a somebody that you just met a couple of months ago and you really don't know them very
Hmm.
well. You seem to get along well. You maybe have the same philosophy, uh, and but you really don't truly know them, and things can go sideways just based on them just not really understanding what you really truly want, or you don't understand where they're coming from, and so.
Hmm.
Uh, for us, we've been building this over years in terms because we had the friendship. We we would talk all the time about business and how what he was doing, and so I think that really helped a lot cement the actual when we decided to do it. It really cemented that whole how we were going to structure this so that it was going to work for both of us and for the clients, of course.
Hmm. Awesome, awesome. And were the clients in his practice similar to your current and previous clients, or were there different niches that you became more familiar with? Or tell me about, your
Yeah.
kind of core
So
client.
that's a good question. So, in general, they were similar, but I had more clients that uh, I had generated from the business. I didn't have these, they weren't friends of mine necessarily, versus his practice was based on friendships that he had established over time. And
Hmm.
a lot of these people came on board with him because of those friendships. Um, so, so mine was based more of a business relationship and helping the client ongoing. I think either way is very doable. Um, it's just, from his standpoint, when he was going to leave, people kind of miss that they could still be friends, and they still have friendships, but they didn't have that relationship uh, with him working with them as a financial planner.
Hmm.
So I think that that was harder for me because then I had to really make sure that I had the ability to provide the servicing, the things that they needed from a financial planning perspective, and they are going to be really helpful because I didn't have that friendship with them. So they were only going to stick with me if I could prove to them that I could really help them.
Hmm.
So I think that that was really the biggest. That was the biggest difference is in terms of clients. They were very similar in terms of people working or not or being retired. They were very similar in that. So there wasn't any sort of niche per se. A lot of these people worked for other companies, and so um, they didn't have most. There were very few business owners that we had together. So yeah. So I think it was. it was important that I work with those, make sure I really had that personal relationship with those clients as soon as possible, and they could see me who I was and really get to know me more on a personal basis. I think that was really important in the first couple of years. Uh,
Hmm.
so that's what we tried to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's I can see that being an incredibly important part of the transition and the business and just, making like he wants it to succeed so that, he knows his clients are being taken care of by you and, you want it to succeed, so you
Right.
can continue taking
Right.
care of his clients. Yeah. Were there any kind of specific things you learned through doing that advisors listening or anyone considering M&A
Yes.
would
Yes.
kind of help?
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
I worked for a bigger firm when I was my previous firm that I was a partner with. We had 5 partners. So, um, we were able to back up each other, um, primarily on a lot of things, with clients. And I didn't have the luxury, with this because it was just my friend and myself. So we were basically in business for 3 years, 4 years basically. And so really, I had to, um, really learn how to run the business. I understood the business itself because I helped to run a bigger business, when I was with my previous firm. But having everything on your back in terms of the things you have to do is it uh, is a lot. And number one, so I think it's important that you set out initially, uh, how you're going to go about, doing all the things that you want to do in the business. And so one of the things that he did for his business is he outsourced all of the, investment management for the business. So he
Hmm.
didn't have to worry about having to manage the portfolios. All he had to do was manage the relationships and the
Hmm.
financial planning services for the clients. That's huge. And I think that's important that any financial advisors that are looking to, acquire a practice, determine how you're going to do all the different pieces of the business. If you want to do it yourself, that means you're going to have to hire people. And, um, but if you want to investment management, that was a big aspect of what we did in my previous firm. It takes people. And, I also was part of that. I actually managed a team of 4 people, uh, that primarily opened accounts, did the trades, did the reporting for the clients. And that took a lot of time and effort. And so I don't recommend that advisors, unless they're willing to go and hire a group, a team of people, I don't recommend that advisors do the investment management internally. Uh,
Hmm.
you really, uh, should look for an outsourced partner for that.
Hmm.
Secondly, I think it's important to know that, when you're in this business, that you have to really figure out what are the things that are really keeping the clients there. Um, it's not the investment management per se. It's more the personal relationship with the client
Hmm.
and and the services that you offer them. And if that's the financial planning, that's what you should focus on is the financial planning and the servicing aspect of the business. Because in the end, um, you can do all sorts of things in this business and be experts in, but if your business starts going out the door because you're not focusing on the things that really matter, which is really the day to day, communicating, um, servicing the client, really making them the primary focus, that business is not going to go very, it's not going to grow. And
Mm.
so you really need to figure out what are the things that you really want to focus on. If it's the investment management, great. Then focus on the investment management. That's the value add. And that should be the main focus of what you're bringing to clients versus financial planning. And that's why you should maybe outsource the financial planning, or other aspects. You outsource the technology piece, things like that. So figure out the things that you want to focus on that are going to be really important to clients, and how you're going to market and be able to grow your business. Um, because you can't do everything. You just can't do everything very well.
Mhm.
Um, I think the last thing I would say is that clients, you need to always make them, servicing has to be the primary focus of how you deal with clients. When you receive an email, make it a standard of how quickly you respond back to them, and be able to get what they need. Um, we have a 24-hour response in terms of providing what they requested. We will initially respond to them, tell them we're working on it, and we will get back to them within a 24-hour period. But that's got to be the standard that we're always going to. But at least we're responding to the clients right away, so that way they know that uh, we're on top of it. And that's something that I learned from my previous um, firm, is servicing was huge. Clients, putting them first, them knowing that we're going to respond right away, that we're working to make sure that we're doing the things that they want from us. Um, that's going to be huge, uh, because studies have been done that if you're not providing them the servicing or the things that they want, the clients are looking for, then they're going to go elsewhere. Those are,
Mhm.
investment management, the performance is probably secondary, but the servicing is the primary thing that they're looking that clients are looking for. So I think that's huge. So I think those are the things that I kind of learned that
Mhm.
I would pass on to others.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. I have one client who their firm has like a billion or so, maybe like 1.2 billion at this point. And uh they offer new advisors that join their firm, or established advisors that come over. They're like, it's just part of the perks of bringing your book of business here. It's like you'll have access to our alternatives fund. You can offer that to your clients, and our rotational models. And we'll just, our internal team will manage your clients' investments, and that's just you know part of the offer if you work with us. And I was like, that seems like a no-brainer. If
That's
I was
right.
an advisor, that is what I would look for in a firm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you are speaking the truth, my friend. Well, we are coming towards the end of our time together. I have one final question for you. It is an open-ended question. You can take it in any direction that you like. And that question is, what are you working towards?
What am I working towards? That is an open-ended question. It's a loaded question. So for me, as I mentioned, the primary focus of what I provide clients is financial planning and education. And so what I'm working towards is growing my business to be able to provide more of those types of services in terms of financial planning services. So as an example, we're looking to provide notary services to clients. One of the employees had just passed their notary, and then so we have an in-house notary now that we can provide services to clients. And so I think that's one area aspect of providing additional service. The other thing that we're looking to provide now is more on the tax planning side of the business is more tax planning services where we would through software that we have be able to provide more tax planning because that's one of the things that I've heard from clients that their tax preparers do not provide, which is crazy to me. Why they don't, but but it
You
seems
figure
like
it
the
out. We
software.
just plan it.
Yeah, we just do the prepare. We don't manage. We don't do the tax planning. So
Yeah.
I think that's something uh, somebody should be doing that because there's so many things
Yeah.
and that's come up in terms of that they need to as they get closer to retirement or they're in retirement. How are ways that they can reduce taxes? And so, tax management is just tax planning services are just a good way to help clients. So there's a couple of examples that I want to, in terms of growing the business, is continuing to do that, adding services. The other thing, as I mentioned, I do articles for Kiplinger magazine. Continuing to educate is an important part of what I want to do. Um, we're looking to expand people here. I think the biggest thing for me is that clients, I know that they want the number one thing that they want is financial planning services. Either mostly as retirement planning, um, but they're looking for services just in general. Investment management, that's great. However, there's a lot of people that offer investment management services, so it's hard to differentiate yourself. There are very few advisors that are willing to look at somebody's auto and home insurance and provide them advice on that. So that's something we do. So
Mhm.
that's a way that you can help, number one, help the client, and number two, differentiate yourself as an advisor. So those are the things is trying to provide different services that are going to keep growing the business and educating more than, as another part of where we're looking to continue to. So I'm looking at other avenues of providing, doing articles for, we're looking at another company, Forbes is another magazine that's out there, and potentially just doing more webinars in the future as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's the next big thing that I'm looking to do, certainly in the next year,
Mhm.
as we continue to grow.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. Well, you're such like a calming presence and such like a pleasant fellow.
Thank you.
I think clients, prospects, they get some time with you and they're just like, no, this guy like puts me at ease. So I imagine you were putting a lot of people at ease over the last 2 weeks.
I hope so. I hope so. I have a client meeting in about 45 minutes here. That's the discussion is trying to put him at ease with
Yeah,
regards to
yeah.
the volatility that's going on. So I hope so. I hope I am. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think today you're really going to earn your money
Yeah,
for good.
yeah,
That's why clients come.
yeah.
So this
Hmm.
is a great opportunity, I think, today.
But that to me is like such an intangible benefit of your services, and no wonder you've been such a success here because you're passionate about this, and clients or prospects come to you and they're just like, oh, I don't know, it just makes me feel better, and he delivers exceptional service. It's like it's a no-brainer. So hats
Well,
off
yeah,
to
I
you,
mean,
Mario.
I can talk about it, just but in the end, it's all about coming through for clients, right? And then
Yeah, yeah,
all
it's
you
it's
want,
the
oh, yeah,
feeling.
but it's really
Yeah,
actions that are going to speak
yeah.
the loudest, as you know. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that's great, man. Mario, where can my audience find out more about you?
yeah. So they can go to longevitywealthmanagement.com.
Hmm.
That's my website. And on that page, they'll find all the articles for that I've written for Kiplinger Magazine. There'll also be a blog there, on different financial planning topics. Um, and certainly if they want to contact me, they can also, there's a contact page there. So yeah,
Awesome.
and like I said, education is important, and hopefully, your audience can go there and see what can help them. So
Yeah, definitely. We will link all of that in the show notes. Mario, thank you so much for taking the time, man. This was a true pleasure. You're a joy to hang out with for 45 minutes.
well, thank you again, Chris, for the opportunity, and have a great, I guess, evening there in
Yeah.
Spain.
Yep.
So
Yep.
awesome, and viva la football. I
Yeah.
don't
See.
think that's what they
See.
say, but uh,
They
anyway,
just scream. They just scream Barca.
Barca, yeah, for sure, that's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So awesome.
All right, Chris, thanks again.
All right. Yeah. And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in and keep on growing out there, everybody. See ya.